Where'd this week go anyway? Hey, everybody. That's what popped in my head while I was getting ready to say it's Thursday. Glad you're here. Thanks for joining me on Daily Distinction. I'm glad you are making some time to join us. And by the way, if you're watching on the replay, thank you for making time in your day to watch on the replay if you can't be here live. So thanks so much for that. We got a really interesting topic to talk about today, and that is how much the world is changing, which means, of course, that sales is changing. And you might say you're not in sales. Well, I think all of us are. In one way or another, we've all got to be good at selling, whether it's selling your products or services, or whether it's selling your ideas and concepts to the people that are important to you. No matter what you're involved in, sales is absolutely critical. But how do you sell when you're not around? How do you sell when face-to-face is no longer the way that you can do it? Ted, great to see you as always. I like your picture, by the way. I noticed that you updated your picture. It looks good. Very, very distinguished, my friend. Looking good there. Darcy, as always, great to see you from Fishers. Glad you're here. Ernest, all the way from Lubbock, Texas, checking in today. Always great to see you, Ernest. Thank you for being here today. So we want to talk about that. Well, what happens when you're not there? How do you sell when you have to do it virtually, or you have to do it in a different way than you've ever done it before? It's the world is so rapidly changing. For example, I'll just give you one example. Think about the oil industry and how that's changing. Just that one industry. When much of the oil out there, the fuel that was created, would fuel things like airplanes, which are flying maybe a tenth as much as it was before, and gas for cars, and we're driving about a tenth as much as we did before. It's the change is unbelievable. So every industry is changing. I'm speaking of oil and gas, and there's Dale right there, and that's his business. Happy Thursday to you too, Dale. I appreciate it. Good to see you, my friend. And Scott, always great to see you. Yes, things are good. Glad to be here. Ernest, thanks for sharing. And yeah, that's part of it. You do it on live stream, don't you? And there's no better teacher about live stream than our mutual friend Ken. He's Ken Walls, and his program on live streaming is just the absolute best. Larry, great to see you. Thank you for being here today as well. Hey, before we talk about it, I've got some very, very specific ideas on what we can do to grow our sales when we can't be there in face-to-face to sell. We got 5 specific ideas for you on today's show. But before we do that, got to remind you that the summit is coming up. It is. Hey, today is the 17th, so it's a month away. We're a month away from this. So if you haven't signed up, today'd be a great day to do it. It's the Distinction Summit, October 16th to 18th. Just go to distinctionsummit.com. You can visit our website there. It will tell you some of the things that we're going to be talking about, and you can sign up right there on the screen. Oh, but do I have an offer for you? Because you take the time to watch Daily Distinction. I got a special code for you. Just enter Distinct 2020, and your price drops by $100, which means it's under $100 to buy a general admission ticket for this 2.5-day program that's going to take you from where you are to where you want to be. That's one of the most important aspects of this. We're talking about how do you improve your sales, but how in the world do you do that if people can't tell the difference between you and the competition? I see all of these programs that are talking about here's how to launch your new product, and here's how to advertise your new product. And I'm like, yeah, but if there's nothing unique or different about it, what do you do? What do you do? So there's your coupon. Go sign up now at distinctionsummit.com. Use the code DISTINCT2020 and you get $100 off. All right. So let's talk about what happens in terms of selling. And there you go. Yeah, look at Ernest. He finished a 1-hour live stream on 8 channels, picked up 17 new sales, made it happen, all on StreamYard. It can happen. And Larry, you're exactly right. We got to change. Life and business is changing. We have to change too. My great friend Jim Cathcart has a great line. He says that he likes Swiss money. And the first time I heard Jim talk about that, I didn't get it. I said, I like American money. What are you talking about, Swiss money? What do you mean when you're saying that you like Swiss money? And he said money that is sent while I sleep soundly. Isn't that a great line? He likes that Swiss money. He likes that money that is sent while he sleeps soundly. So if that's a goal of yours, it certainly is a goal of mine. How do we change? What do we do? How do we make this happen? How do we sell when we can't be face to face and communicate in that manner with the prospects and the clients and the customers that we seek to serve? So I want to suggest to you 5 ways that can help us sell when we're not there to sell. 5 specific ways that we need to be thinking about that's going to help us in this changing world in which we live. Here's the first one, and that is that you provide help, service, and assistance before you try to make the sale. You've heard me talk about it here before, and I know a lot of you share the same pain. And it's kind of become a joke with some friends of mine, and that is that you get an invitation to become somebody's contact on LinkedIn, and you can almost sit there and go 1,001, 1,002, 1,003, waiting on the sales pitch to come in. Have you had that happen too? It's yeah, I get it. I get it why people do that, but I also get that it's really turning me off about some of the aspects of LinkedIn. And it's not that I mind somebody inviting me to buy. It's that I mind you inviting me to buy before you know anything about who I am and before you've provided any reason for me to be interested. What you have to do is to provide help or service or assistance or all of the above. So, and some of you that are my coaching clients, you've heard me talk about, maybe you need to start a YouTube channel where you answer questions, so that before you ask them to buy your answer for their specific situation, they have a chance to learn more about you from this one. Hey, it's not a secret. Part of me doing this every day and taking time to do this every day is hoping that you'll also appreciate and like and get some value out of what I'm talking about. And therefore you want to dive in deeper at the Ultimate Business Summit, which many of you did, and that you want to dive in deeper at my Distinction Summit coming up in October. So, that's part of, I'm trying to walk the talk of what I'm talking about here. And to really provide the most value, you've got to drill deeper. But to increase the interest, I think you have to help first. I think you have to be of service first. I think you have to be willing to communicate with folks first that you can help them. I mean, I had somebody, again, I had somebody write, I talked about this yesterday and said, hey, do you need, a promotion for your book? Well, I thought they had been here on Daily Distinction when I held up the copy of the Ultimate Customer Experience is going to be coming out next year. I thought that's what they meant. Come to find out, they were just sending that to everybody that had author as one of their things listed, because they said, the next line from them said, have you written a book before? No, I mean, yeah, okay. So, I mean, it would be like, me asking Charles, have you ever sold a house before? Come on. I mean, you got to know something about your customer before you can really help, serve, or assist them. So it's providing that first before the ask. Charles, exactly. First, learn more about them and their issues to see if you can help. I mean, it would be like a cancer doctor prospecting in the heart attack ward. I might not be the specialty that can help you. I need to know you first. Right? Exactly right. So first step to selling when you're not there is by first providing help and service and assistance. Here's the second. Tighten your line. By that, I mean, tighten the line of things that you offer. Tighten whether it's the products or the services or whatever that you are offering. Now, you might have them available for purchase, but I mean, as you communicate with your prospective customers or clients, don't try to tell them everything that you do. I see that happen so much. You know, somebody finally responds and says, well, tell me what you do. What do I do? What don't I do? I can do this and that and that. I see in my business, in the speaking industry, speakers having trouble with that. You know, that somebody finally says, well, what do you talk about? And they say, what do you want me to talk about? I can do time management, stress management, goal setting, motivation, sales, service, management. I got you tell me what you want. I got something for it. And nobody, you know, would you pick a doctor that said that? No matter what's your disease, I'm a specialist. No, if you're a specialist, then you don't know everything about every disease, right? That's what makes you a specialist. And people pay more for specialization. But you know, the other amazing thing is we make it easier for customers to buy when we do that. One of the examples that we'll be talking about at the Distinction Summit, just very quickly, is a colleague who used to say, he used to go out and say, I provide services for healthcare professionals. And he wasn't getting much business. So then he revised it and he said, I provide services for healthcare professionals who work at hospitals. And he still wasn't getting much business. He said, I provide services for nurses and technologists who work at hospitals. Started getting a little bit of business. Then when he said, I provide coaching services for married healthcare professionals who are nurses or technologists who work at hospitals and are finding extraordinary stress professionally and personally because of the pandemic. Business exploded. Now, wouldn't you think it would be less, right? Gosh, look at healthcare. Look at all these people in healthcare. I'll provide services to them. At which point, everybody was saying, what services? And do you know what I do? Just because you do healthcare professionals doesn't mean you know what I do in healthcare. And just because, right? And so by tightening the line, he enhanced the business. Because if you have to sell when you're not there, part of your selling has to come from other things than you. And we'll talk about that in just a moment. But tighten up the line, right? There you go. When someone's asked me, what do? You can tell they haven't read your profile. Absolutely, Ernest. If they don't know what you do, then they haven't done their homework. That's the other thing that kills me on LinkedIn. And they're getting paid. Yeah, you know, that's the other thing that kills me on LinkedIn. What do you do? Well, you didn't read my profile? How long does it take to do that? Or they'll ask for my time. How can we set up a call so I could explore how we may be of assistance? No, you should have explored that before you asked for my time. Now, if they came back and you know, old story, I don't know that I've told it here before, but the way that my insurance and financial advisor got my business. So we're at a party. We were living in Indianapolis at the time, and we're at a party for the Indy 500. And in a line, and conversation starts with this guy. And, you know, as typical with guys in particular, what do you do? And so I told him, and he was like really interested and asked for my card, and I gave it to him, which nowadays I don't do that anymore. But anyway, I asked him what he did. And he said, well, I'm in financial services. And as soon as he said that, I thought, man, here comes the pitch. I'm waiting on the pitch, but it never came. So then, I don't know, a week later, there's an envelope in the mailbox and it's got this guy's name on it. And I thought, okay, here's the pitch. I opened it up and it was a couple Far Side cartoons back when the Far Side was running. He clipped out of the newspaper, put an envelope, a little handwritten note. He said, Scott, I know that you use a lot of humor in your presentation, saw these and thought of you. It was kind of cool. You know, that came out of that. Well, then about a week later, there was an article in the Washington Post about speakers and fees and basically for political figures and celebrities. And he said, hey, saw this, thought of you, you know, this is really fascinating and sent that. And then he sent another article on the challenges that small business and self-employed individuals have with setting up retirement plans and that. So that was kind of related with it, but nope. Well, then when he called and wanted to know, hey, you want to grab a cup of coffee? Yeah, I'd love to, because you've sent me something of interest about my industry and the challenges in terms of financial planning. Secondly, you've said something about my sense of humor, which I love the far side, and that's right in my sense of humor. Third, it showed you knew exactly what I do, and it was an article about it. So that was really interesting. So now when he wants to meet, of course, I want to grab a cup of coffee. Why not? As opposed to stand at the line in the party, which is what most people do, saying, are you insured if something happened to you today? Is your family taken care of? Oh, gosh, let me get my drink, and go back to my table. I mean, see the difference? So he did what we were talking about number one. And then when we finally talked, he didn't say, I have 97 mutual funds and 108 different life insurance policies. And he prepared a plan specific to me. He tightened the line. Okay, now the third one is going to sound like it's in conflict with what we're saying, but give me a second to explain it. Third is you expand your communication. In other words, you got to communicate more. You got to get more involved in social media. You got to send out more emails. You've got to be more involved. You got to do more things. Ernest, you're talking about live streaming. You have to communicate more. You got to communicate more out there. So the more you communicate, and the more that you bring content, and the more that you bring information and insight, the greater the likelihood that you're going to sell more. But because you can't be there all the time, how are you expanding your communication? Are you using tools like, you've heard me say on here a bunch that most of our viewers are on the replay, which is great. They get to choose when they watch Daily Distinction. I love it that you're here, because if you weren't here live, then we wouldn't have this interplay. And that's most important. That's what you folks being here live is, to me, what makes it interesting enough that somebody would watch on the replay. Right? So we're all in this same boat. But the point is, we have these methods now that your communication could be out there 24/7. But you got to expand it. You got to do more when it comes to that. Expand your communication. Next, remove the friction. Remove the friction. Where could people get sidetracked? Look, Shelley does such an extraordinary job with websites and everything that we do. But I want to use this as an example. Okay, so here's our Distinction Summit website. It tells you what you're going to learn, and it challenges you with doing that. And here's how much it costs, and you just click a button, and it takes you to where you want to go. And when it takes you where you want to go, you just add to the cart. Is that what you want? This tells you what you're going to get. You add to the cart. You get to the cart, and then all you have to do from the cart is add your coupon. So you add the coupon, update the cart, check out. That's about as easy as it gets. We look at this to see, how do we remove friction from the process? So have you done that with your websites? And have you done that with your marketing material? And have you done that to say, have you had like an instant, mystery shopper do it, so that they can see, walk through the process. Hey, Jim, good to see you. Can you tell us the hours of the summit before the end of today's presentation? Oh man, that's fantastic, Jim. It's going to be, let me think. It's 8. I'm trying to get Pacific time, because I'm on Pacific time, but I had to schedule it on East Coast time. So it's going to be 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. Yes. Okay. Yes, 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. Pacific on Friday, Saturday, and 8 a.m. to 11 a.m. on Sunday. So it's 6 hours on Friday, 6 hours on Saturday, and 3 hours on Sunday. Man, I'm so glad to hear that. That is so awesome. I really appreciate that so much. That to get your team there. That's extraordinary. And by the way, Jim, if the VIP ticket also gets you the video of the entire program. So, for example, if your folks don't want to be a part of it on Sunday or whatever, you'll get the video for that with a VIP ticket. So just so you know, thank you so much. I really appreciate that. Yes, Scott, she does. She kills it. Awesome. And Larry, thank you for sharing this. I really appreciate it. Thank you for sharing. Sharing is caring. So removing the friction is critical. Okay, here's number 5. And you're going to think, from a guy that wrote a book called The Ultimate Customer Experience that's coming out, that this is a crazy one, but here you go. Automate your process. Now, I'm not saying be impersonal, but you've got to have it so that you've got tweets going out even when you're not there, and that there's information that's available and the communication that's accessible right away. Now, one of the things that we haven't done yet, but we're moving into with our business, a lot of other folks in our business has. Oh, hey, Charles, God, thank you. I appreciate you making the connection with us. That is so great. Jim, thank you. That is awesome to know. I'm really thrilled about that. Hey, here's my pal, Eric. Eric, I need to get you as a guest on here someday. I'd love to introduce you to everybody. Eric is a talker. That's a guy that is a rock star right there. So yes, thank you, Pam. We've made a good team, and I'd still say she's the best sister in the world, even if she wasn't my only one. All right, so a lot of folks, and those of you in real estate have probably done a lot of this. We've done a little bit, but not as much as we should. But it's something that we're moving into. And that's, for example, I was on a conversation with a client this morning, and the automation that they have in their process just blew me away. It's just incredible. So let's say you just go to their website and then you click away. It automatically sends you an email. Hey, thanks for stopping by. Noticed you didn't stay very long. Did you not find what you were looking for? Is there something else we could provide? Pretty cool, right? It's selling even when you're not there. Have you gotten the things from Amazon, for example? I got one again this morning. Because you read this, other people that have read that also enjoyed this. And it's suggestive selling. So automating that, because you like this, would you also like to take a look? Real estate folks have been great at doing that, Charles. When Tammy and I looked at some places in Hawaii, we just for fun while we were there, but we're on this site, and they can tell what homes we've looked at as opposed to ones we don't look at, so that we get more of what we're looking at. Did I explain that well? Does that make sense? So they've automated the process so that you're seeing what you're interested in. Programs like, Infusionsoft or HubSpot or others, man, do a great job of automating that process. And there are other less expensive alternatives as well. So understanding that, finding a way to do that, absolutely critical. Because that way, whenever, if somebody checks out something that you've got on your website at 3 a.m. your time, I mean, hey, I'm on the West Coast, right? 3 a.m. my time is 6 a.m. in New York City. If a prospect of mine in Manhattan checks out my site at 6 a.m. their time as they're getting up or whatever, I need to be in touch with that. But at 3 a.m., I'm probably not going to be there waiting on their click. So how do we do that? You automate that process. Now, it's not that any one of these are going to set you apart, but I will suggest it is the combination of the 5 that will help you to sell when you're not there. It's starting by providing a service and assistance and help. It's tightening your line. In other words, don't sell everything all at once. It is expanding the communication you have, using all these incredible tools that we have to expand the communication. It's walking through the process, examining every step along the way and saying, where's the friction here? How do we get rid of the friction in the process? How do we eliminate that? And finally, finding ways that the process can be automated so that we're using these tools to help us sell 24/7 so that we're selling even when we're not face to face. The magic is in the mix. It's working all of these together to create distinction and find a unique way to be of true service to those prospects that we want to convert into customers and clients. Well, that does it for today for Distinction Nation. Thank you so much, everybody, for being here. I really appreciate you staying through. Thank you for watching. Thank you, by the way. I know there's a lot of folks who are sharing it, and that's truly appreciated as well. I look forward to talking to you tomorrow, same time, on the next Daily Distinction.